Mama Purple once again, bringing you another brand new video. And in today's video I am going to be reading a continuation of my short story titled The Loop. So if you haven't read the first one, you can go back and read it and then come back and catch on to the story, and so we can continue together. And so I am not going to waste any more time dilly-dallying here and there. I'm going to jump straight into the story, so just hold on, baby. After working on the blanket till dark, the 5 girls had dinner which mommy and baby had prepared, and then finally went to bed. Mrs. Darkheart gave Crystalline her uniform matching the other girls and took her old clothes away. Though her stunning white dress had been taken away, she didn't look any less bizarre. She obviously did not fit into this world. Crystalline's bed had been put beside Ina's in the room which they all shared. The new girl sat on it just muttering to herself. Ina stared at the girl while running her hand through her short bright purple mess of her hair. "Are you okay?" Ina said with her eyes still focused on the girl. The girl simply looked up at Ina. She looked terribly sad. "How can you not know?" she said. "Know what?" Ina asked. The girl was fidgeting with her fingers. She looked uncomfortable. "I have to get out of here. We all have to." "Why?" Ina said. She couldn't understand why the girl would say that. She didn't comprehend a world away from Bridge Cottage. It was basically all she knew. "Can't you see? You're a prisoner under Miss Darkheart's spell. You are all captives. She stole you from your worlds, brought you here so that you can spend every day working for her on that damn blanket for eternity. But I can't do that. I can't stay here. She can't keep me like this too. My son is back home and he might never see me again," she spoke in a bitter whisper. Ina stared still. She didn't even understand the concept of the words this girl was speaking. Talking of a son, home, prisoners, spell, stolen from worlds. She made no sense. "I don't understand. We are not prisoners. We are..." She looked for the words to describe what they were. The girl sighed. "You have no idea. How long have you been here? Do you even remember your world? Where did you come from?" Silent, crystal clear drops of tears ran down her pale face. "I don't want to be like this. I don't want to forget my baby." Ina marveled. Where had she really come from? Was this girl correct? Were they captives of Mrs. Darkheart, stolen from their worlds? She watched the girl, wondering how she could remember this son, while all Ina could see prior to Bridge Cottage was black. "I have to escape." The girl finally looked at Ina, blinking away the tears. "We have to, or we'll be trapped here forever." "Escape to where?" Ina said. "To our worlds. There's a passage at a diamond mountain. That is the path which she took me through into this world. I can remember. If we can get back there, we will be free. I can return to my life, my baby." She looked around to see if any suspecting person had heard. "They're not making much sense," Ina said. Was she really a captive? Or if that was true, what was being free like? What was her world like? What lied in it? Was it better than Bridge Cottage? Ina's head spun. For a slight second she felt her being become elastic and start to stretch and discover new realities, and then she felt the whiplash. The possibilities shook her to her core. Before now, each day, every single day, life was the same. The order never changed. This girl altered everything she knew, and escaping was impossible. To her, outside the cottage, her existence extinguished. Thinking about all this made her head hurt terribly. Crystalline sighed. She was not getting through. "I guess I'll just do it on my own." Ina looked at Molly, whose bed was opposite hers. Molly was stroking her guitar lying down. She looked up at Ina's puzzled face. "Hey, crazy girl. Looks like we found someone who's even crazier than you," she said with a chuckle. Ina just left it at that. She guessed that this girl must truly have been crazy to dream up such impossible things. The very next day, everything started out as it always did. Molly not wanting to get out of bed, Baby making a racket while dusting the rug, and Mommy trying to sweep the cottage floor. Ina was at the closet near Mrs. Darkhart's room trying to grab a mop when it struck her that she had not seen Crystalline all morning. "Hey, the window is broken," Mommy said as she tried to sweep the shattered glass on the cottage floor. "Where is Crystalline?" a voice said from behind Ina before she could even turn around to see what Mommy was talking about. It startled her and she turned away from the closet to see that a stark-faced Mrs. Darkhart stood casting a shadow over her. Immediately it clicked to her. The girl had escaped. Ina shook her head and glanced at Crystalline's bed. It was perfectly laid as though no one had slept there. "I don't know," Ina said to Miss Darkhart. "I saw her last night before I slept though." Ina didn't dare speak of Crystalline's plan of escaping. Mrs. Darkhart looked furious. The other girls had noticed Miss Darkhart's ferocity and knew immediately that something was up. Mrs. Darkhart moved away from Ina slowly. She drifted into her room and came out with her coat and staff, and then she left the cottage. She dressed like that whenever she left Bridge Cottage every 5 days, but today was not the 5th day, so Crazy Girl could tell that Miss Darkhart had gone to find Crystalline. The girls gathered round Ina immediately Miss Darkhart left. "What's going on?" Mommy said, looking worried. Crystalline left. Ina seemed dazed. Let me just pause here to say I have been repeating words over and over again. I'm repeating sentences over and over again, and I don't really understand why. I think it's because when I write, usually I get so engrossed in a story that most of the time the first draft I ever write is like a skeletal structure. I tend to leave things out. So when I'm going over the story again, there is a tendency to add info that I've already added before because I think that I've left it out. But I think with more practice, this habit has changed, even though there are still these errors in it. So that's just my observation. Let us jump back into the story. The girls gathered round Ina immediately Miss Darkhart left. "What's going on?" Mommy said, looking worried. Crystalline left. Ina seemed dazed. The idea of actually separating herself from this place stunned her. She wondered how Crystalline could do that the way a human would wonder how he or she could fly. To Crazy Girl, leaving Bridge Cottage was like separating herself from her nature. From Mommy's face, Ina could tell that she was also confused. They all had to be. They all shared the same life. Their existence was in taboo. Where did she go? Okay. Where did she go to? Baby said, looking up at Mommy. Mommy shrugged. She was saying something crazy to you yesterday, Crazy Girl, Molly said. Yes, she was. To even repeat the words Crystalline had said seemed like madness. It was crazy, but Crazy Girl said. Break it up, a raspy voice interrupted Ina. It came from Mrs. Darkhart's office. It was Legolas, her vulture. I can't just get over the fact that I named this character Legolas. Like, and you will understand why it's just so contradictory from the Legolas of the Lord of the Rings universe, who is this perfect elf, and then I just had to name this one-legged vulture Legolas. Anyway, break it up, a raspy voice interrupted Ina. It came from Miss Darkhart's office. It was Legolas, her vulture. You know I'm in charge here when she's gone. Now stop your pointless yammering and get to work. The blanket's not gonna knit itself, you know, he said as he wobbled into the office. I don't know if he's speaking in a Jamaican accent or a Scottish accent or but that's how I wrote it, and that is how I'm going to read it. Crazy Girl growled at him. What's going on here? She always confronted Legolas for everything she couldn't ask Miss Darkhart. To her, he seemed like an extension of Mrs. Darkhart's weakness. Though Mrs. Darkhart terrified Ina, she always had an uncanny boldness when it came to Legolas. Who is that girl? Where did she bring her from? Oh, I'm sure the madame would want you to be asking questions right now instead of walking on her blanket. Answer me, Legolas. Ina had guts. Oh my god. It's almost embarrassing to read this story. Ina had guts. That was what differentiated her from the others. She was the only one who could go into Miss Darkheart's room to play pranks on Legolas, and the only one to look him in the face and challenge him. She had some superiority over the other girls, which was probably because she had stayed there the longest. She and the Vulture stared each other down. You have some nerve, I'll tell the madame and you will know. Go on, that's all you can do, but you're going to tell me who that girl is. What are we really doing here? Were we taken from our words? Where did we come from? She seemed rationally distorted. The girl stared at her. She sounded insane, even crazier than her name. These were questions which before today none of the girls would even think to ask, but Crystalline's presence seemed to have broken the spell of oblivion on Crazy Girl. Legolas frowned. He didn't like what was going on. Get to work, girls, he said after a long pause. He wobbled around and flapped his big feathers as he hopped back into Miss Darkheart's room. The door slammed shut behind him. Hey, handsome, was the only thing Crazy Girl could say as he went into the room. It was obvious that something was up. What was gotten into you, Mommy? Asked Crazy Girl, looking more worried. If he tells Miss Darkheart, we'll all be in trouble. I don't care, she said as she moved closer to the room which Legolas had just entered. She tried to peep through the keyhole but saw nothing. She finally placed her head on the door and listened. Oh, come on, Crazy Girl, cut it out. We better start knitting or you know what will happen, Molly said. I think Crystalline's right, Molly, and if she is, it really changes everything. Our entire lives, Crazy Girl said in a whisper, still listening. Molly looked at her cynically. She made zero sense. Hey, what? Ina cut her off. Shush, I can hear something. So, this is where I'm going to stop my reading today. I hope you enjoyed that little snippet of the story. As I said before, you can get the full story if you read the previous episode of this reading of The Loop. So my thoughts on the story, I realized that I was the same mistake that I made that I spoke about in the first video. I keep dwelling on unnecessary details. Okay, she can't understand how Crystalline is from another world. She can't understand how Bridge Cottage is separate from the world which she knew. Okay, she can't understand it, but I keep saying it over and over and over again. Why? I don't know. Maybe I thought that writing a lot of words equated writing well or something, but like if I am going to rewrite it, or rather when I am going to rewrite this story, I am going to try to make it more concise, like even put more scenes or more interesting scenarios. And another thing I noticed from all this is that the side characters rarely have any role to play. It's all Crazy Girl, it's all Ina being so active and trying to do something or trying to find out something, and the other girls are just like cut out mannequins that do nothing and add nothing to the story. It might as well just be Ina in Bridge Cottage with Miss Darkheart and then this other girl coming in, because those girls don't, the other girls, that is Molly, Mommy and Baby, don't really have anything to add to the story. So eventually when I am going to change the story, I'm going to change that. I'm going to make them more interesting characters. Just to add to it, I realize that characters are a very big part of any story. As time has gone on, the more I read books, the more I appreciate the art of characterization. Like good characters can really make a story, and bad characters can break it. And there is nothing more annoying than redundant characters. So I think that's all I have to say for this reading for today. I am going to be posting more editions. Please tell me what you think. What other annoying things did you pick out from my old story reading? What things do you think that I should work on? What things do you think that I should improve? Where do you think the story is going to? Please, I just want to hear from you. Tell me anything. Tell me how your day is going. Tell me how you are. Yes. And so that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you watch this video up to this point, thank you so much. I love you. God will bless you. Just to take it a little bit further, go down below, just scroll down a little bit, see that like button, click a thumbs up, see that other red button, make sure it's white, or if you see that white button, make sure it's red. Anyway, just like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next edition of this video. Thank you and bye bye.